A very good afternoon and warm welcome to all the attendees and panelists. We all know the biggest challenge every food processing industry faces today is the lack of advancement and innovation in its manufacturing practices. To bridge this upgradation gap, we at Neologic Engineers decided to present an emerging food tech webinar series where we will talk about cost-effective food processing automation, applications of top-notch machineries and latest technologies, current trends and future directions in food processing sector, and many more things. So we have been conducting such webinars since last 3 years, and in this 18th webinar of this series today, we will be talking about latest technologies in mango processing. And today's webinar is particularly very special for us as it is being hosted in collaboration with AIFPA, that is All India Food Processing Association, and FENCO Food Machineries Italy. So let me introduce today's speakers. Our first and most renowned person, a visionary leader in food processing, Dr. Raghav Jadli. Welcome, sir. Dr. Raghav Jadli, an alumnus of BOTE Delhi 1987 batch, has built an impressive academic foundation with a degree in food technology and MBA and doctoral degree in both food technology and international business. With over 3 decades of experience, he had established himself as a leading authority in food processing and international trade. As a founder and business managing director of Jadli Foods Private Limited India, Dr. Jadli has transformed his company into one of India's premier food processing enterprise, currently serving as president of All India Food Processors Association, that is AIFPA, a prestigious organization established in 1943. Driven by the philosophy that healthy eating is fundamental to healthy living, Dr. Jadli remains committed to producing world-class nutritious food products while contributing to a healthier global future. Welcome, sir. Welcome to this webinar. Let me introduce our second speaker, is Mr. Massimo Manfredi. With 39 years of experience in the field of food processing machinery, Massimo started his career as an application engineer in company FMC, now called as JBT. He had brief stints at various food processing machinery manufacturer like Industria, Mec Parma, Navatta, before settling in Penco Food Machineries. With diverse experience in different fields like design engineer, application engineer, site engineer, installation manager, sales manager, Massimo is well known in the industry for his technical expertise. After looking at national sales, he started he has responsibility of the international sales since a decade now. Tomato, fruits and vegetable processing lines, spiral solutions, IQF are his forte, and technology innovation in his passion. He is equally expert in bulk aseptic lines as well as retail lines. Like every Italian, he loves football, music, and traveling. Welcome, Massimo, to the session. Our third speaker is Mr. Sri Krishna Ozerkar. Born in middle-class family in Nashik, he completed his entire education in Pune by completing mechanical engineering from Pune University in 1987. After spending a few years in SKF, he joined Alfa Laval and worked in project planning and execution in the dairy and beverage sector of the manufacturing department. He started his entrepreneurial journey by starting his own firm in 1996 and eventually merged his business areas with Neologic Engineers. He has been designing, supplying, installing processing lines for fruits and vegetable since the year 2000. He has been instrumental in developing few of the machineries in India as an import substitute under Make in India scheme. Professionally a hardcore technocrat, engineer, and valuer, his interests are reading books and listening to Indian classical music. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me present our speakers today. Mr. Sri Krishna Ozerkar, sir, you can take the next content. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Nikhil, for the wonderful introduction of our speakers today. And I'm very happy and glad to be among the best of the team in the industry. So let's understand what are the objectives of today's webinar. Definitely, what we are going to do is we're going to understand it and we are going to have a recap of this. So first, we'll understand what is the mango processing industry scenario, what's happening in the industry. We're also going to understand about increasing the yield of processing. That is what Massimo is going to explain. Then understanding the bag-in-box filler, the concept of that, what is web filler, what are the latest technologies in that. Then there will be a few more advancements which we are going to just touch base. We will be also covering single fruit line versus multi-fruit line. What is the difference? What is the advantage, and how we can have a faster return on investment based on this. And then we will have a recap of this. So over to you, Dr. Jadli, sir, to take this side.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. And first of all, I thank you and appreciate Neologic and FANCO to organize, along with the AIFPA, to this webinar for the interest of the industry. And I'm very sure the nearly 120 participants, which are here, I welcome them, and as well, I'm sure that you'll get the value on that one. Is it possible, Nilesh? I mean, because I cannot see the members, so will it be possible to see them, or how it is?
We are already sharing the screen. That's why the only speaker view is there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also when we are in the webinar format, so attendees cannot
Okay.
turn on their camera.
So fine. So well understood.
But they can communicate us with through the chat or Q&A section.
Right. I cannot see the chat box also, but anyway, it's fine. So just to carry forward the webinar of today. Before I talk about the mango processing industry, let me just talk a little. Of course, most of you must be aware of it, the All India Food Processor Association, which was formed in 1943, is one of the oldest and the only food processing association on pan-India basis. And we work, closely with the industry, with the government body for the regulation, for the taxation, and for the benefit of the industry. Now, with this mango of today's seminar on the new technology, the mango processing, mango pulp, to my knowledge, started somewhere in late 70s, in the beginning, when with some small canning line. And I'm glad that I was also a part of, when the Maja was formulating, and this which was the most prominent thing. And then before that, of course, the Rani Japan. So this is the brief, from where we started it. And India contribute approximately 40% of the world's mango production. I think it is. These are the statistics, of course, which are taken from the reliable sources, but I believe it is much more than that one. And then mango, not only often, mango is called king of fruits, which is, with a high vitamin A, and having, India's agriculture. When we see, even the mango processing is basically into the Tamil Nadu and Andhra, and of course some part of the West India. But Uttar Pradesh remains the leading producer states of the mango. Well, going with this for the mango pulp industry, I mean, a large part of the processable variety like Totapuri, Alphonso, Kesar, and now with the Neelam, and as well as in some part of UP, Uttar Pradesh is happening, in the North India is happening, Dashari and Chausa as well. When we talk about the mango pulp processing, the key cluster area is Andhra Pradesh. And when I say the Chittoor, I mean, it includes, of course, the other region like Madanpalli, Vijayawada, we have taken into that one. And then in Tamil Nadu, the Krishnagiri, of course, and Dharmapuri, and this Dinikal and all this area. In this, around 65 plus processing units, and what we are talking about, the 65 plus processing units, of course, they produce like a sizable quantity of the mango. Overall export market view is around 60 to 65% of the mango pulp production done in India goes for the export. And these the figures which have been taken from the APIDA. I'm with a strong opinion. The mango export is much larger than $60.9 million, because what we are talking here is only for the mango pulp, but of course then there is the mango puree and then the mango puree concentrate. So it must be at least double to triple time of that one. But yes, we are showing it here, the slide, because it has taken from the reliable, the data sources. Yeah, next, please. Well, in the domestic market, of course, 40 to 50%, and now the ratio has gone, over a period of time, the percentage have slightly gone up high, even to maybe to the 60%, which is consumed in the domestic market, which is mainly for the juice and beverage sectors. And out of 10 lakh ton produced in the mango, nearly 1 lakh goes to around HoReCa and food services market. Final product, when we talk about it, of course, juice and beverage remain the first one. Then the dairy, the flavored milk, the milk flavored milk. Then jam, jelly, bakery product, and the dairy items like yogurt, ice creams. Yeah, there are quite big challenge, friends. You know that one. Mango industry have been going through a challenging time, particularly on the technical aspect, when we see quite a wastage, and as well as the traditional packing of the canning, which have the issue which which the industry we have faced, like rusting, or what you can say, the rust on the seam of the can, and as well as the feathering. I think somewhere, if I remember, around 12, 13 years back, there was a radical shift of the mango pulp industry from canning to aseptic, when, because of these challenges, what we are facing of rusting, feathering, paneling, and somewhere there were, always the buyers were facing the issues at the custom clearance, even though there was the inside product was much good, much better, but still, the authorities, so there was a radical shift to the aseptic packing. And then, firstly, we have to meet the global compliances, and as well as the new packaging and the so way forward, support. What we are really looking for eco-friendly packaging, and this is happening. This is the bunch of the international market, even in the India, which have the eco-friendly packaging, promote sustainable cultivation practices to ensure long-term growth and product stability. And for that, the technology advancement has a big role, and which they invest in research for improved processing techniques to maintain quality and reduce cost. Encourage the, of course, aseptic is one of this thing, and I will take it a little further forward, Mr. Ozarkar, that what will be more sustainable in coming times if the biodegradable aseptic packaging for better shelf life and export readiness. Yeah, health conscious product development, develop and promote no added sugar. There is a lot of mango pulp market internationally, mainly in the HoReCa segment, where the sweetened mango pulp goes on. But of course, it has, again, it is not that it has been added with a high value. I just came back from the Saudi Arabia, where I was one of the speaker in juice and beverage conference. And the main thing, what we, apart from this sugar taxation, we emphasize personally on the behalf of the AIFPA to make the awareness among the consumer, not only in India, even the world, what is the difference, what is the juice exactly, as it was noted and validated by many of them. The consumers, most of the consumers are not really aware of what is the difference between juice, nectar, smoothie, and 100%. And, okay, we are talking today about the AI, robotic production, new technology, but what the AI face, which has the basic role to even to increase these awarenesses more, so the consumer get a healthy product, and the production of the mango pulp increases in India. So this is something related with the this thing. Well, I think earlier way of the mango processing. So I feel now, as I know, Mr. Ojarkar is going to take forward for this.
Yes. Thank you, Yardley, sir, for giving us the insights of the industry, the scenario, what's happening, and what are the challenges that industry is facing. I will be quickly covering on the earlier ways of mango processing. Dr. Yardley has already covered in one of his slides about the canning and other industry. So basically, this started way back in 17th century. We are not going to go into details of this because most of the people are aware of what was happening in the canning industry or how the mango pulp was processed in earlier times. So this is just for a reference or refreshing our memories how the things were happening in earlier times. These pictures we have seen at lot many places. The canning industry, the storage of the cans or the can cooling tunnels and other thing or sterilization tunnels. So this has been replaced by the aseptic lines. Of course, that has happened because of the limitations. And like Dr. Jadli mentioned, the rusting issues, there are places where this lead or tin contents are not acceptable. So all this has led, and also the flexibility, transport, shelf life, all this has led to aseptic lines over the years. So we'll not go into details of this. So now we'll be discussing on how to add profitability to your processing line, how to increase your yield and all the technological advancements. And for this section, I request Mr. Massimo Manfrendi from Fenco Food Machinery, Italy, to take over. Over to you, Massimo.
Thank you, Mr. Ozarka. Good evening, everyone. So let's try to explain what next could be or what best could be done out of your very nice and juicy product to get better yield and better quality. So looking what was happening in the usual line, we were thinking of finding a new solution to reduce the waste by adding fiber to the same final product instead of rejecting, as usually happen in the normal pulp refiner. So that's why we came with this FFC, Fenco Fiber Cutter. This system has been tested definitely with mango, but all the products you might be reading here, apple, pears, so all the continental and tropical fruits, including numbers of vegetables too. Shortly, we could say, as much harder product will be, as much better performance you can have out of the fiber cutter. So installation is very easy to be done, could be installed in any of the existing plants all over. What we were able to achieve, just to give you a couple of numbers, apple-based product, we were having product with Maastricht was between 10, 12. We were going to 6 to 8. Always with natural product, no concentration, nothing. What we were obtaining is more creamy product, almost without black speck or brown speck. So this is facilitating a lot also the decision to have or not the decanter in line, which is always better to have it, definitely, but that it will facilitate the result. And very important also is that we are not going to have the syneresis. Syneresis is the effect of the liquid and solid separation while you have your product packed in a aseptic bag after a couple of months, let us say, a couple of weeks. So all these is generating a very creamy and very, let's say, effective final product where you can have also, and here you could see on the left side, product treated with fiber cutter, on the right side, product treated without, not treated with the fiber cutter. So you could see the differences. as I was saying, the quantity of waste which you are going to have, because this is we are counting where we are measuring our ability, is always on the waste side. So you could see my hand pulling a bowl of fiber rejected after the turbo refiner. It is practically only mostly cellulose or not edible part, let us say. Similar result has been achieved with pineapple and most of the fruits. This is so improving the quality, reducing the waste, or increasing the yield. Better, no, practically almost nothing black specks and without scenario. These are the main goals. The tool could be having different configuration, allowing also to crush, like what we are going to see here is a pepper chopped, respecting the seeds. So there is a possibility to play with the same system by changing the tools inside and having that. So what has been previously done and treated so nicely during the process, now we have to fill it, and to fill it into the aseptic, as my colleague was explaining a few minutes earlier. And the new tendency is to have the web type filler. So what that means? It means that in aseptic condition, in fully automatic mode, we can fill the puree, natural or concentrate or whatever is your final product into smaller size, ideal solution and ideal size for the HoReCa circuit. So it means hotel, restaurant, and catering, and not just the industrial size as you are used to do nowadays. So for this, we have different type of solution. So on the left side, you could see the simple aseptic filler, single head, which in any case is able to achieve up to 500, more than 500 bags per hour on various sizes, definitely. And later we could see some diagram. On the right side, we have the double head high-speed filler, which could go up to 600 bags per minute each head. So single head, left side, double head, right side. Ideally, the system needs an aseptic tank to control the flow and to guarantee that there's no recycle, because what we have to protect and to prevent is the thermal stress. So to avoid to have product overstressed by double thermal treatment due to the recycle. Any of the aseptic filler could handle pressure type aseptic spout, or open and reclosable, or V-top. V-top it definitely is for the juice, for the very liquid one. But so the system and solution are available from 3 kilo up to 20 kilo as a regular size. Definitely we are filling also the samples, which are 1 kilo or 2 kilo bags. So small quantity, try to saving also and to protect the production definitely, and the sales. So nowadays the solution could be more and more devoted or oriented to these type of smaller bag, and the quality of the bags, as well as the technological solution applied, it guarantee upon the barrier of the barrier, which means the configuration of the aseptic bag could allow up to year and a half, up to 2 years of safe storage without compromising the original product and the original condition. So we can see in the next slide some again pictures and probably some diagram about the capacity, I hope, and to let you understand if you might have the quantity or what is the capacity we can provide you for as a filling capacity. Yeah, here this is a screenshot of the HMI. As you could see, we were filling 5 kilo bags up to 518 bags per hour, so more than. So nowadays, also a web type aseptic filler could have an important performance. Please. Yeah. Web means bags made as a belt. So with the pre-cut system, so the machine itself is pulling the bag, is feeding the bag inside the sterilization chamber, and then in a totally protected and aseptic condition, will provide for opening, filling, and reclosing into in a very hermetic way without possibility of any contamination. Your beautiful puree, please. This is. Thank you for the attention. If you have any question, I'll be pleased to answer your needs.
Thank you, Massimo, for the insights on the developments, specifically about the fiber cutter. Very interesting technology. And I'm sure all of our attendees and participants must be very eager to understand more about that, which we'll take at a later stage. We are also going to touch base on two different aspects in the development of the technology. As we all are aware that day by day, the carbon tax is going to be implemented all over the globe. The pollution, the fuel consumption, everything is now monitored and it is giving us a cost like anything. So the MVR or TVR technology is we are going to just touch base upon, because that is a different topic altogether. And maybe in the future, we'll be having a separate webinar on that particular aspect of the technology. So what we are going to do over here is just going to touch base on these two particular technologies. So what is TVR technology and what is MVR technology? So like you are able to read that thermal vapor recomposition is going to happen in the TVR, and that is going to use the Venturi principle to recover the low temperature product. We will not be going into details of all this, but just to touch base what's happening on technological advancements in the processing field. This is the area where a lot of people are going for. A lot of people are going for TVR as well as for MVR. So MVR is mechanical vapor recompression and TVR is thermal vapor recompression. So moving ahead, another area where the technological advancement or the area where people are looking for is using of chunks. We all know there are juices available now in the market which have small chunks, maybe 3x3 or 5x5. But Fenco has developed a typical aseptic sterilizer as well as filler, which can process the chunks of definite size. So the sterilizer, aseptic filler, as well as the piston pump, which is giving the feed to the sterilizer, is also designed accordingly. We are going to just touch base over this. We are not going to the details of all this. We will be covering to the next topic. That is, what is the advantage of having multi-fruit processing? I know most of the people now are having multi-fruit processing, but there are few industries who are still running the single fruit. So let's try to understand the advantages or what is going to happen when we convert that single fruit processing industry into a multi-fruit processing industry. So the first and most important aspect is, if I'm running mango can be running the plant maybe over a couple of months, that is 60 days, maybe sometimes 70 days or maximum 90 days. But rest of the time, if it is single fruit, the plant will be running idle. And we don't want that to happen, because when you are investing or everybody is investing so much, they should have a faster return on investment. They should run the plant for maximum number of days. So if we convert this particular plant from say 3 months period to 8 to 9 months, where they can process guava, they can process tomato, they can process papaya on the same plant, then the return on investment is faster, break-even is earlier. And the investment to convert a single fruit processing is hardly additional 15 to 20%, depending on what kind of major fruit or for the single fruit you are processing earlier. Of course, all these plants are custom built to suit the availability, product configuration, and overlapping of the seasons. So here you will see, this is my typical process flow diagram of a single fruit processing line. receiving primary fruit washer, secondary fruit washer. So if I go to primary fruit washer, this is a typical fruit washer which is employed in the system. Then secondary fruit washer, if I have to remove the traces of the chlorine, then sorting or cutting conveyor. Of course, for tomato, there will be different conveyor, but for mango and other things which we need to cut, there will be different conveyor. Then we have slat elevator to take the fruits ahead. We have destoner, typical destoner picture over here. Then pulper finisher, buffer tank, preheater. Again, a preheater, tube into preheater, heated by either PHE or THE for the media side. Then we have decanter, what Massimo was mentioning in between. And when we add this fiber cutter, the usage or the load on the decanter is definitely going to get reduced. Then we have standardization tanks, aseptic sterilizer. Here is the aseptic sterilizer. Then we have aseptic feeler. And then we have ambient storage. So this we are talking about the entire single fruit processing line. But when I convert this into a multi-fruit processing line, I add only few machines like I'm showing over here. So I add hammer chopper for cold break of tomato or maybe for guava. Then I add hot break system, typically for tomato. Here you can see typical hot break unit installed in Punjab. And then I add turbo refiner because for peel and seeds of tomato, turbo refiner is more suitable. So here is the turbo refiner, twin stage. Then we have the evaporator. So mango can run for single stem, but typically for tomato, we need to have an evaporator. And here you have a typical triple effect evaporator along with the hot break system recently installed in Bihar. So this is how a single line can be converted into multi-fruit processing line. Let's try to understand some of the facts of these lines. Typically, these lines can be from 3 tons to 60 tons. The biggest line the Fenco has installed is 60 tons per hour in China. The final products can be packed into 3 kg, 5 kg, 20 kg, 220 kg. Of course, the filler here can be regular aseptic filler, single head, double head, monoblock, or maybe wet filler, which Massimo was explaining some time back. The area required, of course, will depend on the kind of fruits you are processing. So converting the single fruit into multi-fruit, conventionally, the traditional fruit has been having increased cost, land, energy utilized. So if I convert it into multi-fruit, my break-even point is going to be faster. Like I mentioned, the investment is going to be very little or say 15 to 20%, depending on what is the primary fruit you are processing. Then seasons are different. Maybe some of the seasons are overlapping, but most of the time seasons are different. So when the mango season is over, we will be having another season for say guava, papaya, tomato. So these seasons I can cover throughout the year. So instead of running the plant from say 2 months or 3 months or 70 days, 60 days, 90 days, I can run the plant for 200 days, 250 days, depending on what kind of products I'm going to process. So we will be having a recap. The idea of all our webinars is to cover a certain topic, say between say 35, 40 to 45 minutes, and give more chance to our attendees, our processors to ask the questions. So what we are going to do is we are going to have a recap. Dr. Jadli covered the industrial scenario. What is the present scenario? What was happening? What are the challenges which are faced by the industry and how the technological advancements are going to help the industry in that particular scenario. Mr. Massimo covered about increasing the processing yield by using the fiber cutter and how the typical fiber cutter can increase certain percentage of yield, whether it is a mango, whether it is a pineapple, whether it is apple, or even chili processing. He showed the photographs of chili processing as well. Massimo also explained about understanding about bag-in-box filler, the web filler, single head, double head, high speed, and how it is going to help. Because specifically, I don't know whether Massimo mentioned or not, when you are using a high speed double head filler, web filler, there is no requirement of the operator because the back feeding is also done entirely by the machine. So very good machine for the people. We also touch base in between about the other two technological advancements. That is the evaporation technology from the conventional regular single effect, double effect, triple effect evaporator with the forced circulation or falling film. We wanted to add, or we would just touch based upon the TVR, the thermal vapor recompression, as well as the mechanical vapor recompression, and how it is going to reduce my steam consumption, how it is going to reduce my carbon tax and that aspect. We also touch based upon the fruit chunks in fruit puree, because that is another latest trend which people are in the demand for now. So that is the topic we just touch based upon. Of course, definitely in the coming webinar, we will be covering that more into detail. And we covered in detail about single fruit line and multi-fruit line, how a single fruit line can be converted into multi-fruit line by adding some of the investment, by adding few of the machineries, and how we can expand our processing time, say from 60 days, 70 days to say 200 days or 250 days, depending on the location and depending on the different kinds of fruits to be processed. So this is what we have covered. I believe, Nikhil, we should be opening the questions now. And I request all the panelists to start their videos so that everybody can understand whom they are talking with.
Yes, we have received many questions on Zoom platform as well as on LinkedIn. I think Mr. Shrish Kashyap have shortlisted Mr. Ravindra Mahajan and Mr. Rajendra Gore. They all have shortlisted few questions, and we can go ahead with the questions from Zoom platform, and then I will ask few questions from LinkedIn Live as well.
Sure. Kashyap ji?
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. I think Massimo mentioned about the fiber cutter, and there seems to be a lot of interest around that particular innovative equipment and the technology in itself. So I think rather than going to the individual questions of the fiber cutter, maybe he could explain a bit more about what the different sizes and we can say models of the fiber cutter and different other applications, I mean, specific applications of the fruits. So maybe that could answer a lot of questions about among the audience, actually.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. So fiber cutter it could have, as I said, different configuration. Within the typical configuration is to micronize whatever comes in. It means that within the pipe, within the connection, the product which is coming after the preheater will be, let's say, in the ideal condition, so in the ideal temperature, to get through the fiber cutter. What happened inside is that we have a sort of, let's call it blades, where we are respecting a minimum distance of 0.5 millimeter of having the pulp going through. So definitely whatever goes through will be micronized. And that makes much more easy the further operation of the pulp refiner, that usually it is used in 0.5, 0.6 millimeter or bigger, sometimes smaller, but hardly smaller than that, will facilitate a lot that the fiber previously of a bigger size going through the holes of the screen. 0.5, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter. These are the three main options we can have. So in order to what Dr. Jadli was saying before, many people doesn't know exactly what that means, smoothie, creamy, juicy, etc., puree, etc., etc. So that is facilitated also to have more homemade style finished product or more creamy and product. Definitely, the performance will be different. We cannot expect to have that from 2 millimeter, the result of 0.5 millimeter. No, that is not possible. But let's say a certain improvement is also possible. Within the flow sheet, Mr. Ozarkar was showing before, between the main difference between the typical and the multi-purpose plant, where there was a turbo refiner added for the other fruits. By having right before the turbo refiner a fiber cutter, you can avoid the turbo refiner in a way. So that depends on the capacity, etc. What I haven't explained you yet is that about these possible tools, we have different models with 5 tons up to 15 tons, or up to 50 tons an hour. So we are practically covering the full demand that in this kind of industry could have. By changing completely the tools inside, we could chop, as you have seen, and we have also specific video where you could see the test we made first in our lab by cutting the spicy pepper, or spicy or sweet pepper, doesn't matter. So chunks like this of the original raw material going in and coming out chopped without breaking the seeds. So this is again an added value because that facilitate a lot what eventually could be separated by, again, decanter or a turbo refiner afterwards. So home style made product or very industrial final result could be achieved.
So Massimo, you are talking about all the.
Sorry, and most important, excuse me, Mr. Rodorka. So, while we are all professional and we are very much paying attention also on the economical point of view, it's not very expensive. It's not very expensive compared to what you can have out of this. So fiber cutting means for the processor making more money at the end of the day.
Great.
Yeah. So I mean, a carry on question for what you said, Mr. Massimo, is can the fiber cutter be installed in an existing plant? Number one. Number two is, since we are utilizing the fibers in a much better way, how much would we expect increase in the yield of the plant by itself? And third question will be, will there be any increase in the shelf life of the aseptic products by installing a fiber cutter?
Subjects are different. Allora, yes is the first answer. Fiber cutter could be installed in any of the existing plants. But we need to evaluate to understand how the plant is configured. But generically, the answer is yes. Generic answer is yes. Yield is between +4 up to 6, sometimes +10%. And that depends on the product. So with the mango, we were achieving +6, 8% in some period of the crop. Let's say main experience has been done in Central America, Costa Rica, Colombia, and similar. In other period, we were 9, 10. Sometimes we were 4, 5. So depends on the variety, definitely, and the period. But yes, these are the range. Let's say between +4 up to maximum, I would say +8%. I don't want to use bigger number than this for today. There's no, let's say that definitely it will be more natural product, more healthy one, but the shelf life is not a matter of the fiber. So not in a sensitive way. So the shelf life is due to the thermal process, which will be submitted during the line. So sterilization and aseptic cooling, and the condition is that.
I would like to take the next question. We have received one question on LinkedIn from Mr. Aniruddha. Dr. Raghav Jadli can answer on this. Are there any schemes from AIFPA to support small or medium scale fruit processors? Also, they would like to understand, is there any support they can get for setting up a small processing plant?
Well, as I told earlier during our introduction part, AIPA is the association of food processors. So basically, it is not a kind of the government organization or something. It is a body which is the association of the food processor in India. So we basically don't fund as such, but definitely we help our members, avail the benefits whatever the government is giving. I mean, there are the facility from the EPIDA, from Ministry of Food Processing, and anyone is required. And then, of course, we have a technical team, which assist and support a bit to the MSME people or a startup. But for that, I mean, they need to be our member. So I hope, and of course, you can write to our association, what you wanted to do that one. Our association will definitely can help in that one. While I'm here on the subject, I'm just taking the question. So since we are also into the mango processing, the question to Mr. Masimbo is, and somebody asked in this thing, I was checking on the questions. So is there any reference of this fiber cutter is found in India? That's the one thing. And I think you have slightly indicated, but you say around 4 to 5% of the yield can be increased in that one. So is that mean the wastage which is happening during the refinery and during the decanter or the separator will be saved in that way?
Yeah, okay, here I am. Reference is not yet in India, to be honest. We are now in the process of probably for the 2025, there will be a couple of units installed. Means increase of yield means waste reduction. So the quantity of waste that was coming out from the turbo refiner is much less, definitely is much less. So on contrary, I'm paying more attention on the waste than on the good product because I'm trying to reduce that one more and definitely improving the quality of the main juice and puree coming out.
It will be installed after the destoner, before the refiner or before the pulper, right?
After the preheater. After the preheater. We need to go for enzymatic inactivation first. So when the product will be warm, that is where it gives the better yield, the better performance, better performance.
In case of the mango as well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely, yes. Any product. So imagine that you have knives, okay? Or you have your robots at home with the blades or whatsoever. That is to give you an idea. So this is a sort of inline micronizer. So we are chopping whatever goes inside in the way we are going to decide previously. Let's say totally is up to 0.5% millimeter, 0.5 millimeter, pardon, not percent, 0.5 millimeter is the smallest distance we can keep. So whatever goes inside has to comes through this distance. So it means will be chopped and micronized. So better not to have the grain of the guava or other things, the tomato seeds, etc. So definitely there is a procedure which we can definitely share is that ideally a destoning cold extraction, what we call it nowadays, cold extraction. Then there will be enzymatic inactivation, eventually some dosage, if needed, of ascorbic for controlling the oxidation, in case is needed. Thermal treatment, and then fiber cutter and definitely refiner at the end.
Okay, so it is before refiner, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh.
Before refiner, before decanter. So with this, what decanter does? Decanter is is a sort of strainer, is removing the bigger parts in a way, including the black specks. So we are going to make more difficult this job because what we are micronizing everything, but still the possibility to have it, the decanter result in line. So the quantity of product rejected will be definitely much less.
Thank you.
How much less within the final performance of having between +4 up to +8% yield upon the product. We were doing fantastic result also with the pineapple, not only papaya. So think in Central America or Caribbean region is very much similar to the Indian condition. I mean, there are all the tropical fruits like what you can have like the one you are having in India. So this is where we built up our experience first. In Italy, nowadays, also in Europe, other countries like Spain, like Greece, like Turkey is starting understanding that the various applications. Extreme example with celery in Chile, fantastic result. Celery puree or celery juice. Carrots, turnips, beetroot. As much strong will be and hard will be the product, much more result and performance you can get.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next questions, please.
Yeah, Mr. Senthil is asking about they don't have the turbo refiner. So do you think that this will work out for them?
As long as the product will be, yes. So we are going with the definitely turbo refiner. Most of the turbo refiner is having a screen install of 0.6 millimeter. I'm chopping at 0.5. So yes, definitely will be more yield than what I was declaring because we are not extracting anything. So as long as the fruits will be nicely treated before, so to remove as much more parts need to be removed, you don't need to have the turbo refiner. But be careful, there is a lot of things. So the fiber cutter does not make any magic. It's not a magic toy. It is a mechanical toy. So it means that if he's going to select and to trim nicely the product before, it can complete the process by the fiber cutter.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions from Shruti and Arun Kumar about the web filler. So they are asking whether citrus type of fruits can be used and whether it can be used with the chunks.
Yes, we have different size. First of all, we have to classify the low acid and high acid product. So our filler are definitely designed for both conditions, which means below 4.4, 4.5 pH or above, so over 4.6 pH as a value. First. Second, we have also different different dimension. So the standard is 1 inch. 1 inch is not allows only up to 14 millimeter chunks to have within the juice. Or we are having now, we are next to design 2.5 inches. Together with the bag manufacturer, we are designing the new filler for that. Why that big one? Because my target is to definitely fill 65 millimeter half pitches. So imagine that the half pitches after the destoning and peeling will be thermally treated into aseptic bags. Half apricot we are already doing without difficult, 40 millimeter as a dimension. So for that we are having the possibility. So within the standard up to 14, or with the wider spout up to 65 millimeter chunks.
Great.
We have a question from Glenn Cox. He's asking about the FFC, whether it is quite similar with Comitrol.
Is let's say it does the same job, but is much cheaper than a Comitron. Comitron is a fantastic machine. Is really a fantastic machine, but it costs a lot of maintenance because every time they have to be replace the knives, etc. So Comitron could be even much more better, much more, but is far too much for what we have to do in line, actually. So we have custom. I was using Comitron before, actually, in this kind of solution. And there was also the way to have 105% yield at the end of the line because there was no rejection practically. Once there are a certain type of process like apple and pears or berry fruits, we were using Comitrol also to recycle everything. And the quality, without the magic was that no one was able to understand what was inside because the quality was so much uniform and fantastic. So the good quality product, definitely. Yeah, so
Yeah,
similar job, but much cheaper.
Yeah, Glenn would like to ask whether FFC can be used and then we avoid using decanter and turbo refiner. Is it possible?
Yes, within a certain limit. You cannot compare this on 100%. But as I keep saying, 95, 98% similar result. I cannot guarantee 100%. About the decanter, I'm saying. For the turbo refiner, yes, definitely.
Basically,
The
the
reason
decanter and separators are used to remove the black specks. So that is a totally different application also.
Exactly. So turbo refiner, yes. In a very good percentage also the decanter, but it's not a decanter.
What we can say, Massimo, is the load on the decanter or separator will be reduced by using this.
Absolutely yes. So with this one, you can have the advantage to choose a smaller decanter, that's for sure.
We have a little different question from Falguna sir asking about whether the pesticide load can be reduced with this.
Pesticide load is the pesticide are not in the pulp, the pesticide are on the skin. So it means that the treatment needs to be done previously. So nice washing, nice brushing, nice organic sanitizer needs to be used. Then with the cold extraction, if you have not just a simple destoner, but you have also a cold extractors, which is another type of refiner or turbo refiner with the bigger holes. We do this normally, actually, with the Mediterranean fruits like apple, pears, etc., to reduce the pesticide traces remaining in the final puree. Yes, with mango needs to be installed, so the factory needs to be trained in such a way. But majority it is due to it is solved in the brush and the washing section.
Yeah, I think we have come up to the end of the question session. Maybe some of you might be having some questions which can be answered a later stage. You can reach out to us on the mail ID or the phone number, and would like to, we'd be happy to answer that question. Over to Nikhil.
Yes, yes. So we have noted down all the questions, and we will reach out each and every person with all the answers on their email addresses. So it was a very insightful session. I would like to say a heartfelt thanks to all the esteemed speakers. Dr. Raghav Jadli, sir, thank you for taking your time out and joining us for this session and sharing the insights in the industry. Mr. Massimo and Mr. Sri Krishna Ozarkar for sharing their profound insights into mango processing technologies. We extend our gratitude to AIFPA and Fenco Food Machineries for collaborating with us to make this 18th webinar a success. And finally, a sincere thanks to all the attendees for your active participation and engagement. We have received many questions. Let us continue driving innovation and excellence in food processing. We look forward to seeing you in the future webinars. If you want to watch our previous webinars, you can go to the YouTube and search for Neologic Engineers. You will get the recording of all the sessions on our YouTube channel. And if you have few more queries, you can always reach out to us on this email address. And thank you all for attending. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jadli.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.